ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रे रहस्य Astrology's knowledge deep as sea नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ Constellations tell their stories to thee कुंडलिनी जगाओ आत्मा जागृत करो Awaken Kundalini, let your spirit rise ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है Energy flows from deep inside
Hello everyone, my name is Tony Victor and you're listening to the Astrological Tarot Report for March 3rd of 2025. Sorry for getting it out a little bit later than usual. I'm recovering from the flu. Might hear it in my voice a little bit still. But yeah, just basically trying to recoup my energy and get back to normal. But I will be giving you a report for the week ahead here. We're going to talk about our normal aspect charts, and then also we have a couple other things going on too. Venus just went into retrograde just the other day, so we'll talk a little bit about that, basically with just the aspect that it affects this week. And then also we will have Mercury transiting into Aries, so we'll discuss that. And then not too far from now, about the end at the end of the month, we'll be seeing Neptune moving into Aries, which that will be very interesting. How that will affect people, especially on a mental level. Neptune being an emotional card and can also affect emotional health, emotional wellness, and then that can affect mental health. Neptune moving into Aries. So we'll talk about that in the future, but yeah, I just did want to mention that could be a big change for us coming up soon here within the next month. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our report. Okay, so on March 3rd, our first aspect that we'll be looking at will be Moon square Pluto. That's really the only aspect of the day. The first couple days of the week start off kind of slow for us. Moon being at 2 degrees of Taurus and Pluto being at 2 degrees of Aquarius. We end up getting the 7 of Pentacles for the Moon, and for Pluto we get the 7 of Swords. So together we're harvesting something, cultivating something, taking those resources and moving them elsewhere. Was it all worth it is a big question here. And Pluto in Aquarius is on the level of the collective. Pluto being that deep secret card, the deep occult wisdom, deep occult knowledge, esoteric knowledge, kind of that desire to learn things on the higher level in Aquarius. Technology. So researching of technology is one thing. Research kind of developments in research and espionage. And we also have changes going on in terms of government agencies, the FBI, being restructured. That is a form of Pluto's transformation in Aquarius, because that's affecting us on a collective level, how the government's being run and how they handle things, for better or for worse. That is part of the Pluto and Aquarius energy. And then the picking and choosing out of all the government structures, agencies, that's also part of the 7 of Pentacles there. The culling of the agencies, that could definitely be part of that too. Taurus being the structure, government structures, it can be part of that. Religious structures as well. We're having some changes going on with that potentially too. The Pope is ill. I'm not sure if he's passed yet. He probably has at this point. They were saying that he wasn't going to make it. But follow the news, and you guys can take a look at that story on your own and see where we're at with that. But yeah, I do expect some changes to happen with that. So those are basically the things going on at the collective level, and that Pluto, the outer planet in Aquarius, is mostly that. Things happening on the collective level. And then the other thing that we wanted to talk about for the 3rd is probably the bigger part of the news for our report today, and that is Mercury transiting into Aries. And when it moves into Aries at 0 degrees, it's the 2 of Wands. That's where it first hits. And the Two of Wands is the gentleman holding the world in his hands. He's holding a staff, a wooden staff, and then behind him is another staff. It's like as if he's standing in a doorway, or kind of standing between two worlds, the one ahead of him and the world behind him. So Mercury's about quick movement, so we can kind of be taking a new leap into a new world very quickly. Things change for us structure-wise, rule-wise, Emperor being the master of laws and boundaries. Also intellect, expertise, knowledge in general. Mercury is also expertise and knowledge and honing it. And it's kind of an exchange of information. So there's this flow of information between the old world and the new. We're getting some challenges that appear. Of course, the emperor rules his domain, and how does he do that? Well, there's always going to be challenges that appear. But Mercury, this is going to affect us on a personal level too. So communication between the patriarchy, higher institutions. It can just be about work in general, being that the emperor is the boss. He's your personal boss, as well as, we also talked about government structures. He's the boss there too, kind of that Uncle Sam figure, if you will. And then the kind of evaluation of things with the Two of Wands. So evaluating structures in general and how to navigate those fields. So personally, there could be some changes taking place in terms of communication and at work, and they can happen very rapidly. They can also be opportunities for advancement, as the Emperor is an opportunity for advancement too. It can be a raise, it can be getting a better job, it can be exploring other jobs, the possibility of getting other jobs. So a lot of things could be going on with this energy. Mercury transiting into Aries is kind of a wide variety of effects going on here, some of which I've already mentioned, and we could just keep going on ad infinitum here, but we talked about a good deal of those, so let's go ahead and move on to March 4th. All right, we have the Moon conjunct Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus, and Taurus with Uranus in it, that is instability. We've been dealing with that one for a long time now, and this can affect family, institutions, government institutions, grandparents, the elderly, the relationship between all those things going on. So we can have kind of a conjunction could be a blending and useful type of situation. However, it can also cause problems. It's not to say that they're all good or bad. Conjunctions, that's just the blending of two energies. So with Taurus there, that's the business world in some regards, because Venus is its ruler, and Venus rules things that make us money. It can be nice things, it can be things that we need, things that we want. It can also be that too. But what do we want in terms of keeping stability in the family? It can be that. How that's going to affect our home life too. I know that's more kind of the Cancer thing, but with this card in particular, the Ten of Pentacles, that's more of what we're looking at here, instability of the home life. Okay, March 5th, only one aspect here to look at. Moon trine Pluto. Pluto's still in Aquarius. At this particular juncture here, Moon is at 3 of Gemini and Pluto's at 3 of Aquarius. So yes, we have our 2 swords cards, the 2 of swords, and then the 8 of swords. So a decision to be made. It's not a tough one for us, especially that we have the trine here. The 8 of swords is there's a woman that's tied loosely in bindings and navigating a field full of swords around her. The blindfold's easy enough to take off if she wants to, if she really wants to look at her own problems. And same goes for the 2 of swords, another woman in blinded by a blindfold. So we have a double blind study here, I guess, as it were, in a manner of speaking. Maybe that's metaphorical, or maybe that's quite literal, some sort of double blind study, especially with Pluto and Aquarius. It could definitely be that the higher sciences and Pluto's deeper desire for knowledge and learning. So yeah, double blind studies. That's a new one I haven't thought about, but now these cards together could definitely be that some sort of higher study in science, and that's kind of what I'm seeing here for that. Either that or how that affects us personally, as I said, is a decision to be made, but it's not a tough one, and it can end up benefiting us for the better if we're willing to look at the problem or problems as they are. Okay, March 6th. We also start off with the Two of Swords here again for Moon conjunct Jupiter. Moon at 12 of Gemini and Jupiter also at 12 of Gemini. And Jupiter's about health, wellness, fortune, goodwill between others, camaraderie, joyfulness. Gemini is about the mental mind, intellect, two sides of one coin, or two different sides, of one coin, if you will. But with the Jupiter there in Gemini, the influence of that is about health, mental health. We've talked about this. It's kind of been a theme for a while now, and it will continue to be with Jupiter as it sits in Gemini. And it's going to be making a decision for your health, for your positive, for its benefit, for the benefit of your health, either mental or otherwise. Can be also your healthier lungs in Gemini. I'm not giving health advice here, to be clear. Go to your doctor for that, but these are just observations that appear in astrology when we look at these planetary forces. So be mindful perhaps of something going on with breathing and how to make that better. If you're like me and getting over the flu, well, hey, you're looking at it right now and what to do to get better. Okay, Sun square Moon for our next one. Sun at 16 degrees of Pisces, giving us the Six of Cups. And Moon at 16 degrees of Gemini, giving us the Six of Swords. So difficulty in moving away from a situation in which one thought was nurturing, but perhaps is not. It ends up perhaps being more harmful than one originally thought it would be, anticipated it to be. Or difficulty leaving behind the past. Something that had happened in the past that may have caused trauma. Six of Cups can be issues surrounding trauma. It can definitely be that, especially with the square there in between the two. Causing us to get over or try to get over these issues that we've had before. Okay, Moon square Saturn is our last aspect of the six that we'll be looking at. Moon at 21 degrees of Gemini, giving us a Two of Swords. Two of Swords has been a pretty common theme for this week so far. And then Saturn at 21 degrees of Pisces, giving us a Two of Cups. And I believe we'll see the Two of Cups here again shortly. It looks like on the 9th at the very least. And so we have the Two of Swords indicating decision, a need to remove our blinders to look at things clearly, a need to take action, or will we be indecisive? We can also go that route too. The Two of Cups is about healing interactions, relationships, coming together for a higher purpose. It can be that. But Saturn and then the square makes things difficult for us. It's a very difficult decision for us to make, whatever this is, perhaps, because it could be one that we've been thinking about for a long time. It's been causing a lot of mental distress in Gemini, and Pisces is very emotional, so it's affecting us both on a mental and emotional level for certain. And Saturn being one of those long-term things, Saturn's related to work, related to physical things. It can be a physical relationship between yourself and someone else. It can be that, depending on what it is not really important. Just the fact that it can be a relationship and something that's been long-standing for a long time. Not saying that it's an end of relationship, although it is Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces is about dissolving solid things. So yes, it could be the end of relationship as well, considering those things. But I think for whatever it is, it can end up being a positive thing, because the Two of Cups is a very positive card. And at the end of it, I think that ends up being the higher influence here is that Two of Cups. So a better decision to be made that ends up in resulting in long-term healing if we're willing to look at the problems and take off the blindfold in the Two of Swords. So do keep all those factors in mind. Okay, March 7th, we're looking at Moon square the node, Moon at 27 degrees of Gemini, and the node at 27 degrees of Pisces. So for our 27 degrees of Gemini, we have the Eight of Swords, and 27 degrees of Pisces, we have the Eight of Cups. So it's not a difficult, leaving something behind is not so difficult for us. That's the Eight of Cups, going on a journey, traveling, sticking with the process, moving forward. It can be a melancholy experience with the Eight of Cups, and we don't really want to face that in the Eight of Swords either. We want to keep that blindfold on and not look at this problem. But it is something that's going to ultimately be for the best. So while this is a square of the node, north node here, it will be for our benefit long term. So something that we may not necessarily see happening long term for us, however, it will be. So even though it looks like a difficult thing to do, it's going to work out for us after all. Okay, Moon square Neptune, Moon at 29 degrees of Gemini, giving us a Ten of Swords, and Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, giving us the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Swords is one of those tough cards. It's ending, it's kind of taking things apart. It can be painful for us. And then the Ten of Cups is a good card. And then, unfortunately, though, we have this as a square. You know, Ten of Cups is higher ideals, dreams, abundance, best of all worlds. It can be about happy families, happy homes. But in this case, it might not be that. It could be the opposite of that, unfortunately. It could be problems at home. It can kind of be a situation where things are taken apart, as I've said. But Gemini, this is the idea of something. So Gemini and Pisces, this is the higher ideal, a higher manifestation, a higher dream. So I see it as something not so physical. And swords also plays into that too. Just a sword suit in general. And Pisces is emotional. And so this is something that affects us both emotionally and mentally, and not so much physically. Neptune is, that watery sign. And Neptune in Pisces, Pisces being ruled by Neptune is one of its planets that rules it besides Jupiter. It's more the ethereal outer planet type of situation, energy. So I see this as kind of being the end of a dream for something that is in family life. We've had this aspect before, not too long ago, and as these planets continue to move through, this is kind of what we get with the Gemini energy together with the Pisces energy. Although we're kind of at the end of it now, being at we're 29 degrees of Gemini with the moon and 29 degrees of Pisces. So Neptune's going to be moving out of Pisces soon, as we discussed earlier in the video. It'll end up going into Aries, and then it'll be changing a lot. So while we'll see the ending of some dreams and them not manifesting the way we thought things were going to play out for us, we'll have new opportunities for dreams again, with Neptune moving into Aries. And that will be a whole new ball game. So we're not going to discuss that because it's not quite time for that. But yeah, as I've said, it will affect a lot of people mentally, being that Neptune is one of those cards of dreams. And it can also be about hallucinations too, being the fact that Neptune moves into Aries, the mental world. So we'll leave it at that for now. And then our next aspect and last aspect of that day on the 7th is Moon square Mercury. And so we have Moon at 5 degrees of Cancer, giving us the Seven of Cups, choices, illusion, perception, sin, indulgences. Mercury at 5 degrees of Aries, we have the Seven of Wands. So kind of standing your ground, fighting battles. And so this is kind of a combination, these together. It can be making a difficult choice in terms of which battles to choose, which battles you want to fight. So yeah, pick and choose your battles. And the difficulty of doing that is that square energy there. So be cautious on that day. And is it really worth it is going to be what you'll be asking yourself there if you really want to engage in communications that way. Mercury being definitely the card of communication. And Aries is the boss, so it could involve something with your boss. Don't get into an argument with your boss if you want to keep that job, right? So it can also be an argument at home. Maybe someone at home is your boss too. Okay, Cancer, the energy of home life. So be aware of that as well. There could be an argument at home too. But pick and choose your battles between work and home. What's really worth it and what's not? Probably not any of them, if I had to guess in this particular situation with the way these cards look. Okay, March 8th, almost through the week here. We have Sun trine Mars, Sun at 17 degrees of Pisces, giving us again the Seven of Cups, and then Mars at 17 degrees of Cancer, giving us the Ten of Cups. So ordinarily, Mars does not like to be in Cancer. However, with the Ten of Cups, it's looking a lot better. And we're making choices again, and Mars has an easier time of making its choice and turning it into something positive, taking positive action towards a positive outcome, and perhaps home life being that we're looking at Cancer, something affecting us emotionally here. And the Pisces is that, again, also emotional energy, so double doozy for emotional energy. But it's going to have a positive outcome for us. It's going to be something we're going to be happy about, and the best of all worlds with the Ten of Cups. So a very positive outcome from that energy there. Okay, so now we get to our Venus retrograde situation here with this aspect. Moon squaring Venus. Moon is at 9 degrees of Cancer, and Venus is at 9 degrees of Aries. So with Moon at 9 degrees of Cancer, we end up having the Two of Cups, good card, and it's upright here in Cancer. Now the only card that it's not upright this week will be for us will be our energy of 9 degrees of Aries with the Venus retrograde, and that is the Two of Wands. So Two of Cups, generally good card about healing, as I said, coming together for higher purposes, relationships, partnerships. It could be flow of creative outward energy between two people. And then, unfortunately, though, the Two of Wands is reversed. So generally speaking, the Two of Wands is kind of a gateway card. And so this gateway is blocked. We're not able to get through it, not be able to pass it. So perhaps we've come to an impasse in a relationship between another person, and we're not able to move past this. It's difficult for us, and it's affecting us very much emotionally, very much mentally with Aries. So the Cancerian energy, the Aries energy, both mental and emotional. And Venus kind of becomes has a lot of vanity in this reversal here, this card reversal. The upside down Empress, as it were, becomes our Venus energy because it is retrograde. And so one kind of becomes, haughty and it's like, oh, I want this, and I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to be upset about it, especially with the pig-headedness or the kind of, how should we say it? Just the ram energy of Aries. You have that brutality trying to push things forward in Aries, and then you have the reversal energy of Venus, the Empress, being one who's vain and having to have their own way and kind of selfish energy. So it can be not good in relationships between two people or two entities, if that be metaphorically speaking, in terms of, not that I think it could be business, though. It's Aries. It could be business related. Aries is the emperor. So, it can be on a personal level. It can be on a not personal level, on a larger level, but it is going to be people not happy about how things are going to turn out and opportunities are going to be locked, it looks like. So that is a not too good energy of the square there. But, we can come out of it in a healing fashion if we can compromise. There is a possibility of compromise. Just a square makes it very difficult. So if one person can get over their own selfishness, it does leave an opportunity for healing if it's done correctly and communicated correctly. So you kind of have to bring your own mercurial energy into it, so to speak, because it is not present here. Mercurial energy and how to communicate effectively are what is lacking in this particular planetary aspect. So bring that forward into this interaction, and you may be able to come out with some benefit of compromise. Okay, next aspect is Moon conjunct Mars. Moon and Mars at 17 degrees of Cancer. So this can be positive. Still another kind of an additional energy of positive continuation from the previous aspect of Sun trine Mars. We still get another 10 of Cups here in this particular conjunction. And again, it's kind of just reiterate what we already talked about in the previous Sun trine Mars. Pretty much this is about happy home life, the best of all possibilities, manifestation of hopes and dreams. So using that energy to carry things forward and make something happen. Use that energy effectively, and you'll have a good outcome there. And then our last aspect for the day is Sun trine Moon. So good aspect there. Sun at 18 degrees of Pisces, giving us the 8 of Cups. And then our Mars at 17 degrees of Cancer. I'm sorry, our Moon at 18 degrees of Cancer, giving us the 2 of Cups. So positive, very positive aspect to energy. The 8 of Cups is sticking with the process to heal through relationship. It can be about that. It can be about taking a journey together with a loved one or a partnership of some sort, sticking with the process to cultivate a relationship. It could be that too. Although there's the melancholy presence of the 8 of Cups, there it is kind of that perhaps difficult energy. It can kind of have a that feel to it, but overall it can be better and beneficial to us at the end of that. And yes, it can affect home life with Cancer there, and Pisces is also that potential energy of health concerns too. So it could be about healing and getting over something, but sticking with the process and coming out on top and using the energy overall for improvement and bettering of a relationship. Okay, moving on to March 9th. First of all, pardon the noise in the background here with the dump trucks. But we have to continue on. And so we're going to do March 9th here. Moon trine Saturn. Moon at 20 degrees of Cancer, giving 21 degrees of Cancer, giving us the 5 of Cups. And then Saturn at 21 degrees of Pisces, giving us the 2 of Cups. So 5 of Cups, 2 of Cups, Moon trine Saturn on March 9th. And we have, with the 5 of Cups there, yes, it can be kind of that depressing energy, unfortunately. However, this somehow becomes easy for us with the trine. The 2 of Cups is the healing energy. Again, we're having a lot of energy at 2 Cups here, and we'll have another aspect to talk about here as well soon. But with this energy, we're looking at healing a long-term relationship. And yes, there is grief and sadness and suffering that we must pass through in order to heal and get it back on track, whatever this relationship is. And the trine makes it easier for us to do. So it can be done, even though there's a lot of heartbreak in the past and suffering. But yes, it's looking good for us in the long term with that long-term Saturnian energy. Okay, and Moon trine the node. This is a more positive trine here for us with this node. Moon at 27 degrees of Cancer, giving us, again, the 2 of Cups. And then 27 degrees of Pisces for our node, with Pisces giving us the 8 of Cups. So again, we're sticking with the process to heal and transform the energy for a higher good. And this is going to be more towards, our own karma and life here with the node situation, and how to progress forward in time, and how to get a better outcome for us in the future. So this is not just about relationships, although our personal relationships do affect us a lot in this particular case, and they are very important for us for our karma here. So decisions made surrounding our relationships will affect our karma heavily in this case. However, it will be for the higher good of all involved in these relationships. And it's a lot easier for us to do just because of the trine situation. Although it can feel like it's saddening to us, perhaps there is a moving on from relationship of a kind or several, depending. But yeah, moving forward for our karma reasons, it will be good for us all. Okay, and our last aspect we'll be talking about for the end of the week here at the 9th is Moon trine Neptune, Moon at 29 degrees of Cancer, giving us the 4 of Cups, and Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, giving us the 10 of Cups. So, okay, it's interesting that we've heard from some people that the last degree of Pisces is about suffering. Well, I do not see it that way. We have the 10 of Cups here is how the last degree manifests in our chart, and it will always be the 10 of Cups on that degree. All degrees are marked by their minor arcana in a particular way in this charting system, and at the end of the line is the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is a beneficial card, typically, and again, this depends on the other planetary energies involved that create the aspects, but generally speaking, the 10 of Cups is a good card. The highest of all good and highest of all possibilities. Good family life, hopes, manifestations, and dreams. Things have manifested at this point in a good way or are manifesting. 9 is kind of a physical abundance, and then the 10 is kind of more the emotional outcome of all that after the fact. And you have what you want, and it has made you happy, and you're in a state of kind of happiness. I know it kind of looks that way as well in 9, but in the 9 it's kind of it's good for you, but in the 10 it's kind of good for all. So with the 4 of Cups though, the situation is you've had enough of something. You need rest and relaxation after some sort of long period of something. Something's gone on for a while, and now you need to recoup from it. Somebody's offering you something, but it might not be what you want. In this case, I see it as something that's offered, and it is what you want. Okay, being that it is a trine, and it is a 10 of Cups joined with the 4 of Cups. So otherwise, it might not be that, but in this case, it is something. So if you are offered something, in this case, you should take it. It will be good for you. And accept it with grace and beauty, because that's what this is about here. Grace and beauty in Pisces with Neptune, and Cancer together with that energy, Cancerian energy with that. And it's a good opportunity. That is what this aspect is telling us. Take it. Okay, so that is the end of our report for this week. Please check out the new tarot deck. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to Quicksilver Astrology. And if you're watching on the other channel, subscribe there as well. Quicksilver Astrology is the main YouTube channel that I do use. You can find information on how to do this charting system. It's on the Quicksilver Astrology page. Not perhaps on the other one, but it is on Quicksilver Astrology, my YouTube channel. Also have a website under the same name, quicksilverastrology.com, where my books and other materials are available. There's a resource guide there. If you want to do a basic chart, you can do that. AstroSeek is, I believe the AstroSeek is the one I'm using now for basic charting, if you want to put together a chart for yourself. Interpretations, though, I do the interpretations. You can get a basic chart. I won't be able to tell you much, especially with my method that I use. I use an extensive, in-detailed method down to the degree, and analyze it with tarot. That is my charting system. So if you like it, please do check it out, and like, subscribe, comment. See you guys next time. My name is Tony Victor, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about some of the things I've been working on and I have available now. There's a tarot deck that goes along kind of with this book here, Zohar and the Enochian Code of Knowledge. So it's a book on the Enochian system, if you're not familiar with that. That is an angelic system that was developed by John Dee and Edward Kelly during the time of Queen Elizabeth. and her reign. And she relied on John Dee to be her court astrologer and give her advice on all sorts of things, including military advice and whatever else she might need. But later on in time, this system kind of, it was hidden for a time, and then it became more available to people. People are starting to really get into it now, actually, during this time. And I think it's quite a good book for people to pick up and take a look at. It gives kind of a structure to something that didn't necessarily have as much structure before. It becomes related to the Zohar and the Kabbalah. And how does it get there? Well, you need to read and check it out. But just to flip through it real quick, and you can see some of the other titles I have available there in the QR code for the store. But there's a lot of different studies that I've done on this and kind of broken it down into different sections on the Gematria, and like I said, the Kabbalah and the Zohar. There's different charts in there relating to the Tablet of Knowledge, and that's kind of one of the more obscure parts of the Enochian system. However, it definitely requires some looking into. At a certain point, you'll come across it in your readings if you read enough of the Enochian system. So yes, I've also gone ahead and figured out some Gematria for this as it relates to other forms of Gematria, and that's kind of in the back of the book there. So there's a system to look at and another chart as it corresponds to the Greek and the Hebrew. But you'll have to take a look at that and explore that on your own. But yeah, the Tablet of Knowledge, one of those more obscure things that's not really talked about in the Enochian system so much, and yet it's one of the more important things in it. At some point, it helps us open the Book of the Loga and understand that. And this here is the tarot deck that kind of goes along with that. I developed it based on the Gematria. So Aleister Crowley kind of developed his own tarot and how it corresponded with the Kabbalah and Gematria. And this is kind of one of those decks where we do the same thing, or I do the same thing, I guess. I've done the same thing. And we get some interesting artwork here. You can see this in full on the website, quicksilverastrology.com. It shows you all the cards, and you can just go ahead and look at all of them there.
ज्योतिष का ज्ञान यह रे रहस्य, Astrology's knowledge deep as sea. नक्षत्र कहानियाँ कहता यहाँ, constellations tell their stories to thee. कुंडलिनी जगाओ, आत्मा जागृत करो, awaken Kundalini, let your spirit rise. ऊर्जा भीतर से बहती है, energy flows from deep inside.